Welcome to the center at Eastman as we sit here right on the edge of the beautiful golf links on a wonderful sunny day. I'm Elizabeth DeRazio, and we're here to talk about people who don't have amazing sunny days like this every day. I'm joined by Deborah Mozden of the Turning Points Network, and she's going to talk about a crucial service that her charity offers to the community and why we as local businesses and local members of the community need to help support Turning Points. So thank you for joining us, Deborah.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Turning Points, tell us about your mission and the people you help.
So first and foremost, we are a resource for individuals experiencing domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and also trafficking. So for folks who are experiencing violence now or who have experienced it in the past, but also those who care about them. Not every survivor is going to call us. They're not ready. They're too afraid for whatever reason. And so somebody might call on their behalf just to get some information, learn about some resources, learn how they can help them through us.
And that's something, you mentioned something at the end, I'm sure our viewers caught it, trafficking. We tend to think, oh no, that's got to be, south of the border, that's in South America or Africa, but really there is an actual ongoing epidemic of trafficking in the United States, and it's affecting us here in the Upper Valley.
Correct. Our organization has worked with maybe 7 or 8 survivors of trafficking in just the last year and a half. We don't see it as much for sure, and it certainly doesn't have the notoriety that trafficking outside of the United States has, but domestic trafficking is ever growing, and New Hampshire has laws around trafficking now and also an anti-trafficking task force, so it is an ever-growing concern in our community.
And as we start saying these phrases, I'm sure some of our viewers are going, well, I don't know what that is, and that's really the point of Turning Points. I always tell people after my years of teaching is, if you feel like something's not right, better to find out than to sweep it under the rug. Because chances are your instincts were picking up on something.
Absolutely, and it's so easy to call us or just stop in. We have the office in Claremont at 11 School Street. We have the office in Newport at 167 Summer Street, the old hospital here in Newport.
Right.
Folks can just stop in, they can call, they don't have to give us their name, they can just ask questions. As I mentioned, someone can call on behalf of someone that they care about, but they can have a conversation. They don't have to do anything, they don't have to tell us anything more than that, but like you said, just to find out if what they're experiencing, it feels like it lines up with any of those issues and what their resources are, just to be able to have someone to talk to bounce that off of, but also to do maybe some safety planning.
And that's something that's very important. Oftentimes, abusive situations start off, they seem kind of benign. Oh, they don't want me to go here, or they just always check my emails, or okay, so they always check my text and my phone, or something like that. We're like, oh, that's just so-and-so being so-and-so. But those behaviors can escalate. So really having those initial conversations where you start to see these things like, wait a minute, I got 2 of these things going on here. Maybe this isn't just someone being protective or someone, being insecure. Maybe this is something more. And really being educated before it gets to that point is crucial.
That's a really good point, because it does often start with more the control, isolating, and as you mentioned, kind of determining what somebody can and can't do, what somebody can and can't wear. It most often escalates. I mean, it usually does, and that's with in terms of frequency, but also intensity. And when it happens over time, it's a lot harder, to recognize, and it also is a lot harder to kind of recognize it for what it's for and what it is. And so, a relationship, the longer we're in a relationship with someone, I mean, there are children, it's just harder
to get away.
Exactly. With sexual assault, similar kinds of circumstances where somebody, the sexual assault survivors often will take responsibility, and they never, ever, ever need to. But just sorting that out, and sometimes having someone to talk to who is totally objective, who can just help them walk through it, because oftentimes too, they think that they don't need to talk about it, they can get through it, but it's something that stays with us for the rest of our lives, and it's a matter of how do we integrate that into our lives so that it doesn't dominate.
And the thing is, this does require a lot of resources. So the reason why we have you here at Eastman is there's a great event coming up in August where we can help support Turning Points Network.
Yes, the tournament on August 25th. The Eastman Women's Golf Association has become a great friend to Turning Points Network. This is their 4th year, and the funds that they raise help us support our shelter program, but also our economic independence program, because what we've learned is, especially with regard to domestic violence, for survivors who are at a point where they want to leave, it's really hard to make it on their own if they haven't had that support. And so we have a program to help women or men to be able to make it financially on their own, to provide for themselves and their children, so that they never need to rely on an abuser. Yeah, exactly.
That sounds great. So make sure you check Eastman's calendar for the tournament that benefits Turning Points Network. Take a little time out of your day to play golf, or even just go to the luncheon if you don't swing a club, and support the Turning Points Network.